Hello, we should be live. It's a little bit weird because I've got new headphones and they're noise cancelling, so I can't really hear my own voice, and it's weird. But hi everyone. I just want to check my levels. Can you all hear me okay? Is the stream coming through all right? Yep, the chat seems to be working okay. Kirsten's in the chat. Hi Kirsten, that's Kirsten from Rhizome. Good stuff. Okay, well, I've got a few things that I wanted to talk about during this stream. Just a few updates and whatnot, and then I'll answer any questions in the chat or anything like that. Hi there, Ali. Good to see you here. Alexander. Hello. Okay, cool. All right, so I suppose I should just get into it, really, should I? What do I need to talk about? Right, okay, so before I start, I should probably mention that there's a support link in the description for if you want on-screen messages and all that kind of stuff. Super chats are on as well. I'm guessing you can all hear me fine. The levels look good in my streaming software, so that's cool. Something I did want to talk about that was in my last stream. I was using Cinema 4D briefly in my last stream, and some of you may have noticed that when I went to any menu items, like a menu, or went to the primitive menu, you know, where you hold down on a primitive and then you get to choose from a selection, none of that was showing up on the screen. And it's because I was sharing the window. So this time, what I've done is I've actually just shared the entire screen instead of sharing just the application window, because according to Streamlabs, that's an issue. So that should all be working now. That's Jonold. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He says the levels are all good. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Yeah, so hopefully now when I stream with Cinema 4D in the future, you'll be able to see the menu items that I'm clicking on and all that kind of stuff. Because when I look back at the stream, I was talking about, you know, right-clicking and then choosing an option, and I was right-clicking and nothing was showing up on the stream, so it was kind of weird. So hopefully that's all sorted out. Mohammed's in the chat as well, says hello mate, how you doing? So yeah, like I said, if you want to support Digital Meat, there's a link in the description even that takes you to my Streamlabs page. I've actually got it set up so you have to log into your YouTube account there, and then you can donate. And then you can choose a GIF and your message and all that kind of stuff. The reason I've done it that way is because it prevents what do they call it, chargebacks through PayPal or whatever. But yeah, so you can go there or you can super chat or whatever you like. So what did I want to talk about? Right, the mailing list. Okay. Now this might be a point of contention for a few of you out there. I'm hoping not many of you, because I had a bit of an error on my site, and I noticed I had a test account set up as a user, and it sent a load of what I was trying to tweak on the website. It ended up sending a load of emails to me. So it'd be good if any of you in the chat received a bunch of emails from Digital Meat to let me know, because I'm hoping that none of you got that, and it was only a few people. But basically the way I had it set up went haywire, and it sent out a bunch of emails over and over again to a bunch of people. So I'm hoping that didn't affect you. Gokhan says, hello, please more. I think he means real flow tutorials. Thank you. I'll try my best. So yeah, with the mailing list, it should all be working fine now. So basically the reason that it was sending out a bunch of emails is because I was trying to automate it on the website. So when you sign up for the mailing list, I can segment users by whether they're just regular users on Digital Meat, you know, got regular accounts, if they have purchased anything, or they're actually got a Prime membership, because then that way it means that I can actually send emails to my Prime members telling them of new content in the Prime membership area without bothering anyone else, and vice versa. But what I should mention while I'm at it, if you do want to join my mailing list so you can get updates about tutorials, you can also get updates about Prime membership tutorials if you're a Prime member, and just general information. If you go to the website, in fact, let me show you. Okay, so there we go. So what I'm going to do is actually put a subscription thing on the home page. In fact, I'm going to rejig the home page a little bit. But if you go to the blog page, there's a little bit in the sidebar where you can subscribe to the newsletter. So you can just sign up there, first and last name and email address. What I suggest you do, if you've got an account on Digital Meet, use the same first name and last name, because it will all tie together. So you can register here if you go to account. So you can register here. So yeah, signing up to the newsletter, you can do that on the blog page. You can also do it on the tutorial page as well. And like I said, I'll be adding that to the home page. And I think it's in a few other places around the website as well. Not on about, might be on support. No, it's not there. Contact maybe. Yeah, there's one there as well. So there's one on the contact page. So you can sign up in all those places. Robin's in the chat, says, hey Robin, how you doing? So you could also, when you set up an account on Digital Meet, so if I go to the account page, if you're not logged in, it will take you here to the login page, and if you haven't got an account, there's a register button here at the bottom. If you go to that, you can register, and then you get a little tick box here saying get updates about new tutorials and Prime member content. So if you check that and register, you don't have to worry about the little subscribe box on the blog page or whatever, because you'll automatically be subscribed. In fact, it's a double opt-in, so you get an email from Digital Meet saying, are you sure you want to subscribe to this newsletter? And just click the yes button and you'll be there. So yeah, you can opt in when you create an account as well. Like I said, I'll be adding a subscribe form to the home page. I've already covered how you'll receive updates for new tutorials, and regular users will receive information. Oh yeah, that's something I'm planning to do via email. A few people have asked me about the Prime membership area, because they sort of messaged me and said, the Prime membership thing sounds good, but I've got no idea what's in it. Well, I'm actually going to be addressing that. So I'll be actually sending regular Digital Meet users some email updates about Prime membership, what you get, what's in there, all that kind of stuff. I'll also be making some promotional videos about it, just a short little 30-second thing. At the moment, at the end of my videos, I briefly talk about the Prime membership, and you know the usual spiel: like and subscribe, go to the website if you want to donate, you can donate, blah blah blah, all of that. But I'm going to make a little 30-second thing specifically about Prime membership content and make it nice and flashy. So every now and again I'll dump one of them at the end of my tutorial videos. So yeah, that'd be cool. What else have we got? Sorry, I've got a list of stuff here that I wanted to go through. Like I said, if you're a Prime member, you'll receive updates about new Prime members content. It's not like my YouTube content. So on YouTube, if you've subscribed to me, and I should imagine everyone in the chat has, when I put a new video up, obviously you get a notification from YouTube saying, hey, Digital Meet's got a new video, and you can just go see it. Well, with my Prime members, that doesn't happen, because the videos are not hosted by YouTube, and you know. So this is a really good way for me to communicate with my Prime members. So if you are a Prime member, in fact, if there's any Prime members in the chat, let me know, and that'd be good. But yeah, if you are a Prime member, sign up to the newsletter, because then you'll get updates, and anything that changes I can tell you about, and any discounts and stuff like that, you know. Okay, cool. So what else have we got? I've already apologized to my Prime subscribers. I think the repeated emails I was talking about earlier actually only affected my Prime members. I'm hoping. That's why I was asking if any regular sign-ups on Digital Meet got a bunch of emails sent to them. I really hope not, because I think when I checked my test account, I'd spammed about 7 emails to myself, but that should all be fixed now, hopefully. So the one thing I did want to say about the email thing, if you Mohammed says MoGraph tutorials, thank you. In fact, I'm going to do a MoGraph series as part of my Prime membership area, sort of more in-depth stuff. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go and check out the Prime membership on the Digital Meat store. It's $20 and that gives you 12 months access. So pretty cheap, really. Okay, so yeah, the one thing that I did want to say about subscribing to the Digital Meat newsletter, so you can get the updates and everything, don't be scared. I'm not going to spam the hell out of you. I know how annoying it can be when you go to, you know, a website or something like that and you think, oh yeah, newsletter, that'd be good to get info. And they're just spamming the shit out of you every day. Every day they're sending you an email. And in the end, it doesn't make you want to buy their stuff and it doesn't want to make you go to their thing. It just makes you want to leave their subscription list. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're getting that crap every day, it's just like, fine, I won't be a subscriber to your newsletter then. So don't worry about that. I will not be doing that. I'll only give you the relevant information. Like I said, tutorial updates and Prime members updates, and if, you know, anything news happening. But I don't want to annoy my users pretty much. So, okay, moving on. The Prime members area. For those that don't know what the Prime members area is, if you go to my website and click on the Prime members area and you're not signed in, you'll get this message saying, sorry, but it appears you're trying to access some restricted content. Okay, so if you click on the picture, it will take you to the Prime membership thing, and then you can buy the Prime membership for $20, and then you'll get access for 12 months. And the idea of the Prime membership is that there's basically extended content in there, so like more in-depth tutorials. Currently, I've got a load of espresso ones, a bunch of tutorials about hard surface modeling. I think I've got one on what was it? Motion capture. And like I said, I'll be doing a load of MoGraph tutorials and stuff like that in there. So that's what's in there currently. And the reason I'm bringing up the Prime members area is because that is actually going to be my focus for the coming weeks in terms of content for Digital Meat, because I've kind of neglected it a little bit over the last month. So I just want to make sure I look after Prime members. After all, they've paid to be there. So I'm going to be boshing out a load of MoGraph stuff and possibly a couple more hard surface tutorials, and then putting them in the Prime area. So that's going to be my first port of call. So I just want to say a big thank you to my Prime members as well. And yeah, I've gone over that. And yeah, so generally more content and more MoGraph stuff in there. The store, I want to talk about the store. The store needs some love big time. And so I'll be doing that after I finish the priority of the Prime content. And I'll be growing the assets in the store. So at the moment, I've got a couple of, I've been meaning to do it for ages, but there's just not enough hours in the day, or I'm really poor at managing my time. But I've got these Unity, they're sort of like PBR game render assets. So this is an example of one. You get a little preview as well if you go and visit it. So it's like a 3D model, and it's all set up for you. So basically, when you buy it, you get a little zip file, and inside that you get a C4D file with the corresponding materials and textures and all that stuff, PBR material. And when you open it up, it's already set up. It's already got the material with everything in the right slots and all of that stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. It's actually a substance material. And you also get a Unity package as well, which makes it super easy to import that stuff into Unity. You just import the Unity package, and what you get in there is a prefab, and the material's already set up, and it's just nice and super easy. And I'm actually considering doing that with the with Unreal as well, because I don't know if you guys have heard about the news, the recent news, that Unreal 4 and C4D have got this, they kind of work together now. So apparently you can drop C4D files into UE4 projects and everything just works. Now, I don't know how far they've gone with that. I should imagine that if you're thinking, oh wow, can I use MoGraph objects in UE4? I don't know. I need to do some digging, but honestly, I doubt it very much because MoGraph, you know, a cloner is like a MoGraph generator. It's a C4D type of generator, and I don't know if they're going to have UE4 read that kind of data. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do some digging, and when I know more, I'll let you guys know, unless you already know. I'm sure the news has been flying around Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely something to keep my eye on. And like I said, if it turns out that I can add a UE4 package file or whatever their equivalent is, I'll be doing that. So I'm going to stop rabbiting on about that now. But yeah, the long and short of it is I will be growing the assets in the store. So I'll be adding a lot more to these libraries. And I think that would be really handy to have somewhere to go just to grab some stuff. And you know you can just open it in Cinema 4D or even merge it in and it'll just work. It's already set up. You don't have to go through a headache of going through each material and setting up each material. You could import a bunch of this stuff and it all just works out of the box. So yeah, there's that. I'll also be adding more videos about free Cinema 4D plugins to the store area. So originally they were on the tutorials page. Because essentially I was making videos about free plugins and they were under one of these filters, but I thought, you know what, I'll put them in the store because they weren't just tutorials, there's download links there and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd just bung them in the store. So if you're looking for free Cinema 4D plugins, you'll find them here. And if you open up this page, there's a bunch of videos here. And if you open them up, there'll be a video about its use and all that kind of stuff and a download link to actually go pick up the plugin. So I'll be doing a bunch more of them because I haven't done one for a while. So yeah, that'd be good. What else? I'm also scrapping the merch store. Now I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm actually doing it through Redbubble at the moment. So if you click on the merch store in here, it will take you to Redbubble, the Digital Meat page, and there's a bunch of stuff in here. But when I first signed up to Redbubble, let's go back, let's get away from this horrible thing. When I first started and set up Redbubble, there was a load of options in there that were actually quite handy that they then went on to remove. So you could actually choose, okay, say you set up a t-shirt, you can actually choose what colours it went out in. But then they took away that option and just said, oh, we put them out in all colours. And it's like, well, what if you've got a white logo and then someone accidentally buys it on a white t-shirt? Surely it'd be good to, you know, take that option away. But apparently you can do that. So and it was just little things like that. And they changed a load of stuff about their back end I didn't really like. So I'm actually looking at Teespring at the moment because it pretty much does the same thing. And you can integrate it into YouTube. So underneath my videos, you'll actually be able to see Digital Meat merch. So if you're watching a video and you see something underneath, like a mug or a t-shirt or something that catches your eye, you can go, oh yeah, and go and have a look at it. So it's nice that it incorporates underneath my YouTube videos as well. So I'll be scrapping that Redbubble merch store and I'll be looking at Teespring in the coming weeks. So that's everything to do with the store. You guys are being quite quiet in the chat as well. Okay, cool. All right, moving on to Patreon. And, well, I suppose funding in general, but there's a few ways that you can sort of help out Digital Meat. At the moment, if you go to the support tab on my website, it tells you about supporting me. You can either do it through the Prime membership and you get a bunch of content, or you can just donate. It's like a one-time donation at the bottom here. Or you can do it via my Patreon page. Now, there's not much said about my Patreon page on the website, but I always, at the end of my tutorial videos, there's a little 30-second spiel, and I do include in that video, check out my Patreon page if you want to help support me, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? And for the most part, it has been a bit of a failure. In fact, before I wanted to talk about this, I did actually want to say thank you, actually, to the people that are supporting me on Patreon. because you know, some people have dipped in and out, but there's been a few people that have stuck by me on Patreon every month for the last year or two, although it's not many. So thank you very much. I just wanted to say that to the people that have been on my Patreon. But for the large part, it's been pretty unsuccessful. I've got about 16,000 subscribers, 16,500 subscribers. And I think the maximum amount of Patreon supporters I've had, it has been, I think at the very max, it was 18 people. And I think it's at 15 at the moment. I'm not sure. I haven't checked. I did look earlier. But yeah, I think at the very max, it's been 18 people. So for the most part, it's been a bit of a failure. So I'll just tell you what the general idea was with Patreon. I could have set up a Patreon where there was goals and tiers and all of that kind of stuff. And that's essentially where I had sort of extra content at the time. But the reason I stopped putting my extra content there and I set up the Prime membership area is because basically what was happening was people were signing up to the Patreon, getting access to all the content, and then leaving before payday. So I contacted Patreon and said, is there anything we can do about this? And they went, no. And I just went, well, why don't I just host this content myself? Robin says 11 at present. So that's 11 people that have subscribed to my Patreon. So yeah, so I basically went, well, I might as well host this content myself. And I just set up the Prime members area for the extra content, basically. But the idea with the Patreon was, I wanted somewhere where people could donate if they wanted to, but I didn't want to make it ridiculous where there was a load of tiers and the lowest tier was like, I don't know, $10 or something. And I wanted it to be available to everyone. And I just thought, well, instead of going in for the kill and going, oh yeah, my Patreon's $10 a month, why don't I just make it $1 a month? Because it keeps it really, really minimum impact for anyone that does want to donate. And that's why I made it $1 a month, because I thought, well, instead of having 10 people give me $10 a month, why don't I just make it $1 a month? And then maybe that way, 50 people will give me $1 a month instead of 10 people giving me $10 a month. So it actually works out better for the person giving because it's a minimal amount of money. I mean, it's the price of a cup of coffee. It's not even that, actually. So then, you know, it affects my users way less and it could actually be more beneficial. So that was the idea anyway. And like I said, in large, Robin says, yeah, micropayments are the way to go, bud. Well, like I said, you'd think it would be the way to go, which is what my plan was, which is, you know, what I've just laid out, and it's absolutely not worked. It's failed completely. So what this part of the stream is about, I'm trying to find out why, basically. It has failed on the large part, and I'm just trying to find out why. So, sorry, I'm just looking at my list. So, yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. I've already talked about the numbers, very low. I mean, on my YouTube channel, I'm getting about, I mean, my subscribership is about 16,500, but the amount of views I get every month on YouTube is around 50,000. So you'd expect maybe at least 1 to 2% of those views to maybe go, yeah, maybe I'll donate, but that's currently not the case. So basically, I'm asking for feedback. And in fact, if I go to my YouTube channel, actually, YouTube, let's go there. And go to Digital Meat. Okay, yeah. So if I go to my YouTube channel, I've got a community page here, and I can actually put up polls and stuff in this section. So what I might do is actually put a poll up there, because then it'll actually reach more people. Obviously, you guys in the you guys in the chat can give me your opinion now, and obviously anyone who's watching this after the fact can actually comment underneath the video as well. That would be really helpful. But what I might do is actually set up a community poll there, and then you guys can actually tell me what your thoughts are. So I'll let you know what I'm thinking about this. So I'm asking for your feedback. Is it the fact that there are no tiers and no goals? and no rewards. The reason I did that, like I said, was to keep things simple. Donate $1 a month. You won't even notice it leave your bank account because it's such a small amount. But I'll just have $1 across the board. I'm not going to bother with tiers and all that kind of stuff. So really what I'm asking you guys, do you think that's a good idea? Or do you not care because of that? Or would you like to see tiers or anything like that? You know, is that one of the reasons? The other reason that I thought it might be, there was some controversy with Patreon earlier this year, where a lot of people actually left it. And it was because some high-profile individuals that are on Patreon got banned off of their platform for, I think it was quite complicated, actually. Well, I don't know if it was complicated, but basically, Patreon decided they didn't want these users on their platform anymore and just booted them off, even though they didn't actually break their terms of service. At least not on their platform anyway. And in fact, their terms of service, they weren't really laid out very well, to be honest. And I think they've rewritten them now. But a lot of people got a little bit of a bee in their bonnet about that. And it seemed that a lot of people left Patreon. You know, if you're going to do that to users, well, then I'm not going to support you or your platform, so I'm going to leave. So for a lot of people, it was an ethical issue. And I'm wondering if there's maybe a segment of my users that would like to support Digital Meat, but won't because of the platform, won't because it is Patreon. So it'd be really interested to hear from anyone where that is the case. You know, they would like to help me, but they just don't want to use Patreon, because if there's enough of those people, then maybe I should either look at dealing with it myself on my own website, which would actually be advantageous to me because I wouldn't have to share anything with Patreon or PayPal. Do you know what I mean? It would just be, it wouldn't be both. It would just be PayPal, you know. So that might be the way to go. But it'd be really interesting for me to find out why, basically. So if that is one of the reasons, the fact that you don't want to be supporting Patreon as a platform, it'd be really, really interesting to hear from any user where that is the case. So yeah, the last thing on my list was basically, would users prefer it if I try to host my own method on digitalmeat.uk and set up maybe a subscribe button, like a PayPal subscribe button, where you could choose to give $1 a month if you wanted to, and just cut PayPal out of it completely. And it'd be great to actually hear from, sorry, PayPal. I said PayPal, I meant Patreon. Yeah, it'd be good to hear from an actual Patreon to see what they think. Would they rather support me on Patreon, or would they rather me host it on my own website? Because obviously I have got patron users at the moment donating to me, and it'd be interesting to see whether they'd like to stick to what they're doing or... So yeah, really guys, I'm just looking for feedback. But like I said, I will put up a couple of polls on this community thing, because then it won't just get to the people in the chat and the people that decide to comment on this video. It will get to my users widely. So yeah, okay. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about, really. So if there anyone's in the chat that's got any questions or, you know, general thoughts, or just want to chat, I'm happy to do that for a little while. But if not, I'll probably wrap it up. Is anyone get any questions? I think I used PayPal on your website. That's right. So let's actually go to Patreon. So I've got a Patreon set up. So it's basically this. And I just post up the YouTube videos and all that stuff. So if you wanted to, you could donate to me. I actually suggest $1 a month. $1 basically. So I think someone's just joined my Patreon, because I think there's more money in it than there was when I checked earlier. Thank you, by the way, whoever that was. But thanks. But yeah, so basically there's this way, and then someone in the chat has just said, I think I use PayPal on your website. That's correct. So if you go to my website and go to the support page, you can go down the bottom here and you can say, yeah, I want to donate. you know, you can give a custom about. So if you wanted to give $1, you could do that and say donate now. But it's just a one-time donation. It doesn't donate $1 every month. It just donates $1. So that's why I've got the Patreon. But I could put a PayPal subscribe button next to this donate now button. So then you could choose if you wanted to donate $1 a month if you wanted to. So that's what I'm really asking. Would it be better if I just did that on my site, put a little subscribe button there and just completely can Patreon, or would users still like me to carry on using Patreon? That's all I'm asking, really. Daryl says, ever use Infinite Ocean plugin? No, I haven't, but I gather I think he's got a few plugins that basically work on the same premise, hasn't he? So you got Infinite Ocean, and then he's got Infinite Desert, is it? So like it's exactly the same. It's instead of ocean, it's desert that just sort of goes on forever, that kind of thing. I've not used it. Is it any good? Is it all right? Robin says, yeah, micro payments are the way to go. Cool. Yeah, I already read that one. So the chat's pretty quiet. Anything else, guys? Daryl, it doesn't act right when you move camera. I've been wrestling with this render for 2 days now. Well, I don't really know how it works, but yeah, I don't really know how it works. But if it's anything like the way things have worked for plugins in Unity, it works via projection. So you've actually got the ocean isn't actually infinite and all around you. It's projected. But don't quote me on that. I'm just guessing that's the way it works. So do you have to set up a second camera? Because one is the projection location or the projection camera, and the other one is another camera that you dump in. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not familiar with it. Sorry about that, Daryl. Robin says, if you can build the revenue stream on your site, I would take that route. It's just a long, hard slog getting traffic to the site, to me. Yeah, it is a little bit, because YouTube is absolutely mental. Like I said, I'll get thousands of views every month and all that kind of thing. And the website traffic, it's not bad. It ticks over, but it's nowhere near the amount of traffic that my YouTube channel gets. And of course it's not. Do you know what I mean? Because their algorithm is pushing up relevant information. I mean, for the most part, if you search Cinema 4D, I'm usually in the top results, especially it's very specific. If you type in, I don't know, something like motion tracking in Cinema 4D, I think I'm in the top 3, something like that. But so yeah, you're right, Daryl. It's just a long, hard slog getting traffic to the site. Yes, you are definitely right. And the thing is, Digital Meat is actually just me. It's not like I've got a team of bunnies behind the scenes all working. I do the web development. I do all of it. So I tell you what, SEO optimization makes me want to just. Do you know what I mean? So it's a yeah, you're right about that. Robin also follows that up with, I follow a few Patreon users but don't actually donate. I just watch content on YouTube. I like the digital content idea of paying for relevant tools, plugins, etc. $1 a month seems fine. Yeah, that's a real shame, because if I could make tools, I would, but I'm not a developer, unfortunately. And in fact, that's something that I've been thinking about, but there's just not enough hours in the day to begin with, because I'm struggling to keep on top of things, pay the bills, produce content for you guys, produce content for the Prime membership stuff, stay on top of the web development stuff and make sure everything's running properly. It's like spinning plates a lot of the time, and it'd be really good if I could dig into learning how to code Python, and then maybe I could make some C4D plugins. But I'd be starting from zero, and there's just not enough hours in the day at the moment anyway. So it's kind of like a bit of a vicious circle, and I really need to sort of either find a way to manage my time better or something else. I like the digital content idea of paying for relevant tools, plugins, etc. Exactly. I don't know if you guys know Merc on Patreon, but he's got that kind of model. His plugins are fantastic as well, so go check him out on Patreon because his plugins are great. And if you subscribe as a Patreon at $1 a month, you get access to certain things, and then if you go for $2, I think $5 is the next level. Actually, you get access to a load of his plugins, and then he's got premium plugins that you can, okay, so Robin says, Daryl, have you tried Hot4D? Hot4D is really good. In fact, if you go to my store page and then go to free plugins, I've got a video about Hot4D, and it's I think it's based on some Houdini paper from way back. Don't quote me on that, but I think the guy saw a paper that was written for wave functions in Houdini and then adapted it for a plugin in Cinema. I could be completely wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I read that. Daryl says, Robin, I have. Robin also says, do you still work a full-time job on top of Digital Meet? Yes, I do. But it's not a full-time job in the normal sense. It's not like I go out to work. I actually went freelance in August last year. So it's just coming up to a year of being freelance. And I've got to say, it has been difficult because of the, when you're in full-time employment, you don't have to worry about stability because you know what you're getting at the end of the month. But with self-employment, obviously it's up and down. It might be a good month one month, and then the next month you're like this. Fuck, how am I going to pay the rent? Shit. But the trade-off with that is the fact that you've got freedom. So when I wake up in the morning, if I think I want an extra 10 minutes, I can do. And if I need to pop out in the day to sort something out, I can do. So there's a level of freedom that comes with it, but you don't have the same amount of stability. And that's actually even more difficult to work around sort of Digital Meet because, when you're thinking, shit, I need to get the money in, my priority is paying the rent and making sure I can eat. Otherwise, Digital Meet dies completely. So I've got to make sure I can at least do that. And then I can worry about Digital Meet. So when I get paid working, that has to take the priority, unfortunately, because I just, the stability thing. If it's going to be a good month and it's only halfway through the month, it takes some of the pressure off because I can sort of go, okay, I've got a week to bury my head in Digital Meet. So I can make a load of tutorials and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it swings and roundabouts, basically. Daryl says, I know what you mean. I dabble in Python. Very time intensive. I envy Merc. Merc is lovely. And in fact, check out his Twitter as well, because he runs another Twitter. He runs a couple of Twitters, actually. Twitters? Is that correct vernacular? I don't think so. But yeah, he's a great guy and he produces great content. Daryl also says, we're in the same boat. Went freelance last year, struggling like hell. Yeah. Well, that's something else that I wanted to bring up about the whole financial side of things. When I was talking about Patreon and asking for your guys' feedback and all that kind of stuff. Is it just because I basically was asking you guys, and like I said, setting up polls and all that kind of stuff. Wanted feedback and asking you guys why. And saying, is it the fact there's no tiers? Is it the fact that it's this? Would you rather it be on the website and blah, 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 and all the rest of it? But could it be as simple as this? People just want everything for free now. Is that what it is? Is it, if you offer free content, then they'll take free content and they'll go, well, why would I pay? why would I find it in the kindness of my heart to throw a load of money at you, or even a little bit of money at you, when I could just watch it and not? Is that what it is? Maybe. I don't know. But I didn't want to... The reason I did it this way is because I didn't want to exclude anyone. There might be people out there that are sort of... they can't afford to give anything. And I didn't want to sort of go, well, you can't have access then. I wanted to make sure that the content was available for everyone. And hopefully some people along the way would, think this content's great, I'll definitely chuck him a couple of dollars. You know, who knows? Anyway, Robin says, I've been freelance 25 years plus now. Well done, Robin. I should imagine you've seen lots of ups and downs and all of that. And I keep telling myself that's part of the fun of being freelance. I've got to tell myself that, or else I would have killed myself by now. Daryl says, freedom, yes, but sometimes it sucks being in a vacuum. That's why I appreciate these live chats. I think he means live chats. Yeah, you're right. In fact, I found myself doing that. In fact, I had to force myself to go out last week in fact, it was this week. It was earlier this week, to a friend's gig, because I was in my own bubble. I've just been sat at this desk for like a week straight, and I just thought, this can't be healthy. So in the end, I just sort of dropped everything and went, just go outside to get some fresh air, you know. So you're right. It does suck being in a vacuum. But I think you meant a vacuum as in, you know, well, I don't know what you meant actually. I'm just interpreting what you meant. Robin also says, you will have good years and bad years. Remember to save when you have a good one. Exactly. I'm really careful about tax as well. So any income I get, I put 25% of it in a separate place to make sure at the end of the year, the tax man doesn't actually ruin me. So I'll make sure I do that. And yeah, when it has been good, which is, I've had a couple of high points, I've definitely taken that money and just put it to one side and gone, at least a bit of the worry is gone, because I know I can pay my rent for the next 3 months or something like that. So it's nice when you can put a little bit of chunk aside. But the problem with doing it like that, when you do get a little bit of cash and you put it to one side, you look at that cash and think it'd be nice if I actually had some disposable income to myself, so I could actually go maybe have a drink with my mates and maybe go somewhere now and again. But you don't think like that. You put it to one side and go, right, rent. Just make sure you can pay the rent for as long as you can. You know, so I end up not going anywhere and just worrying about that. But, you know, maybe I'll get better as I go along. Robin also says, yeah, it can get very insular working on your own. Yeah, it can. So you've got to make sure that you reach out. In fact, it's good to have a community online, because you can chat to each other over Skype and that kind of stuff, and over Facebook and all that kind of stuff. But it's also really, really important to make sure that you actually have a face-to-face with someone and actually have tactile contact with another human being, because otherwise you might as well be living in a virtual simulation. Do you know what I mean? Jamie says, would you do suggested tutorials for Patreons? Would you do suggested tutorials for patrons? That's a really good idea, actually. So maybe if you maybe it'd be good. I think you can do polls on Patreon, but then again, I've got one of them on my website. So if you go to tutorials, you've got a poll here at the top, and you basically, yes, I know you've got to log in, but yeah, basically I'll give a few options in that you can vote on those options. So the users don't actually get to pick specifically per se, but they get to pick out of a selection of 5, if you like. I might even extend that, but that's not actually a bad idea. Would you do suggested tutorials for patrons even? So that might be good. So yeah, maybe it'd be good to add a tier then, and say that if you join this tier, you get to make suggestions about tutorials. Although I don't want it to ever get to a point where someone goes, right, well, I donated this much and I need you to do a tutorial about so and so. Because if it's subject matter that I don't care about, or I don't know about even, there's not much I can do about that. And then obviously that person that's paid will be really unhappy then. They'll go, well, I paid. So, and do you know what I mean? So, but it's an interesting suggestion. So it's maybe something to think about. Thank you for that, Jamie. Really appreciate that. Robin, I would agree that the millennials want it all free. Of course they do. They love Bernie Sanders, don't they? I will give you free healthcare and free education. There's no such thing as a free lunch, I'm afraid. Robin, he also says, if you guys want any tips on freelancing, I'll try and help you out. I'm actually pretty settled at the moment in terms of the freelancing, apart from I just need to get more working, more regular. But I'm slowly building up the client list. In fact, I've got quite a few now, but it's just that they don't need work all the time. So they'll come to me every sort of few months. And what's really annoying is they usually come to me at the same time as well. So it'll be dead for ages. And then I'll get 3 of them all pop up at the same time and go, can you do this? And it's like, oh, kill me. So, you know. Pixel Buster says, hello, Sam. Hello. Hello, Pixel Buster. Daryl says, some days I just want to be a farmer. I know what you mean. Some days you just think, do you know what? I'd like a simple life. If I was just in a field picking strawberries, I'd be out in the sun. I'd be out in nature. I don't even have to think about the work that I'm doing. I could just do it mindlessly, listening to music or whatever. You know, that'd be all right. But I can tell you now, even though that sounds like heaven when you think about the kind of work you're doing now, which is like quite sort of intellectually intensive, and you know, I don't feel drained physically at the end of the day, but I feel like my head's melting. You know, I can tell you now, if you did that kind of work, strawberry picking, not having to think, all that kind of thing, you'd soon get bored. You'd soon think, I miss the challenge of those problem-solving tasks and all that kind of stuff. Well, at least I would anyway. Darren says, yes, I think I got this ocean sorted out. Okay, did you create a second camera by any chance, or what? What was the solution? Robin says, at Daryl, farmer. Who was it that suggested farmer? Yeah, it was Daryl. Okay, cool. No such thing as free, but also there is such thing as corruption and greed. Just saying. Well, yeah, no one's saying both those things don't exist, but there's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone somewhere is paying for it, you know. Daryl says, I do have a garden for when I'm rendering. Lucky you, I don't. I'm in a flat, but I do have windows and a patio door that it doesn't open up onto anything, not like a balcony or whatever, but it just sort of, at least it lets a bit of air in or whatever, you know. No second camera. This is Daryl again. He says, no second camera, had to jack the overall movement speed to 1,000%. Seems reasonable. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but then again, I'm not familiar with the plugin. Oh, that's something else I wanted to talk about. I've been meaning to do tutorials about the Forester plugin for a while now. Now, while Forester isn't free, the Forester plugin, it has to be bought. I think it's worth talking about because not only is it an excellent plugin, but it deals with foliage even in Cinema 4D, which is rare. You know, it's few and far between. You can get model packs and, you know, drop them in, but they're just models. With Forester, it's actually, they're generated, if you like, which is super useful if you're using a GPU renderer and you have to put a load of geometry into VRAM and all that kind of stuff, you know, so it's really good. Daryl said it's a stupid slider, default at 100%, at which level it doesn't work. Okay. Gonna have to excuse me while we chat a bit, guys, because I'm eating beef jerky. Jack Link's beef jerky, the only beef jerky that I can get on board with. And because it's American, it's actually quite pricey here in the UK. But yes, lush. Anyone use Dem Earth? Any views, comments? I don't, but I did have a look at it. And while it does look really interesting, I don't think I'd have a lot of use for it. At least for the time being. I should imagine there'll be some point in the future when I need it, I'll have to buy it. But no, not for the time being. Daryl, never heard of it. I'll take a peek. You should do. It's really good. In fact, same person. I can't remember the website now. I think it is. Why is Britney Spears coming up? All right, okay. I think it is c4dplugins.com, maybe? No, that's C4D plugin. My connection is not private. Oh, he needs to update his certificate, he thinks. No, that's not it. Let's just type dem earth, shall we? Oh, cinemaplugins.com. That's why I couldn't remember. But yeah, this does look pretty cool. It basically pulls in geographic map data. But there's also a free bit here, and they've got a bunch of free plugins as well, which is pretty nice of them. In fact, I might cover a couple of these on my free plugin section. And he's got a load of bought plugins on here, which are really, really handy. That Vector Pro is really good. It handles images way better than Cinema 4D does, actually. Voxygen I've got. That's a great little plugin. Excuse me. Robin says, I've done it the hard way round with NASA LiDAR data. It takes some doing, but it's all free. Yeah, I've seen a couple of examples of that. Since Cinema 4D, they introduced the fact that you can bring in point cloud data now. So that's really interesting as well. Oh, that reminds me, has anyone seen that there's meant to be a big announcement regarding Cinema 4D at SIGGRAPH? What do we all think of that? Have we all been speculating? The first thing I thought when I read that was like, please don't be anything to do with Adobe. You know, because obviously Cinema 4D is quite tightly integrated with After Effects. In Cinema 4D, you can actually whatchamaflip. Excuse me. Wrong button, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, in Cinema 4D, you can actually create an AE file when you render, and it will just stack everything up. If you do a multipass, you can create an After Effects file, and when you open it up, everything's stacked up correctly, and it's got the correct blending modes and all that kind of stuff. So obviously, there's a relationship there with Cinema 4D, with Maxon and Adobe. I just hope that that relationship doesn't extend to Adobe buying Maxon. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. But you know. Robin says, I use AE a lot and it's pants, so I use Element 3D. Much better and faster. I agree to some extent. After Effects has been bogged down and it has got slower and slower as times move forward, and which is a real shame. So maybe they need to cut some of the flab out and just, instead of trying to add new features for every iteration, why, you know, let's get it working in a stable build and, you know, cut out the flab and make it super, super fast. I'd much rather that than cramming new features in, which is something I feared for Cinema 4D actually, because, excuse me, I've got a load of beef jerky in my mouth. I'm nearly choking on it. Hold up. Yeah. I've noticed that Maxon, when they release every year, they usually they'll have a year where there's a bunch of new features and you're like, wow. And then the next year they'll have one where it's just sort of like, there's some extra bits, but nothing too major. And it's like they've just made fixes and that kind of stuff. And it's like, good. That's the way to go, because I don't want it to get to a point like with 3ds Max where they pump out a new version every year, very little changes in terms of what's broke, but they keep adding stuff, especially when they don't remove the old stuff. Like, I remember when they added the new Boolean tool, and it's like, well, what happened to the old one? Oh, well, it's still in there and it's still broke. Brilliant. I don't ever want it to get like that with Cinema 4D. To be honest, I can't see it going that way, because Maxon have been pretty brilliant, to be honest, over the last, well, I've been using Cinema 4D since R12, R11, R12, something like that. And yeah. Jamie says, I'm guessing it'll have a lot to do with Redshift integration, maybe a discounted rate, hopefully. I hope so. That'd be really nice. I mean, a lot of people were saying maybe it will actually be integrated into C4D. And I thought, maybe. I doubt it, though, because what about all the users that use a standalone and plus all, all the support for all the other programs? What I'm hoping it is, if it is Redshift, what I'm hoping it is that Redshift materials display correctly in the viewport, just like Cinema 4D materials do. So if it's a metal, it actually looks like a metal and it reflects the environment and all that kind of stuff. All the nice PBR shit they basically added to C4D. I want Redshift materials to do that. Is that my phone going off? Sorry about that noise, guys. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be nice if Redshift materials worked within the C4D viewport, so you at least got a preview. So tightening integration really in general and just have it work nicer. And it'd be good if, well, yeah, just better integration with C4D. Robin says, I did mean the C4D plus AE workflow is crap. The element C3D and the AE is faster. Oh, right, I see what you're saying. Right. I'm stuck with native renderer here. Well, I've got to be honest, I use physical renderer mainly. And I suppose you play to, well, not play to your strengths, but it's a balance between what you need and what you want. I mean, there's a lot of work. I mean, I get work and it's like, this needs to happen. It's like, well, I could do that in physical render, no problem. And it would still look good. So there's no need for me to go and elsewhere to do it because it'd just be overkill or whatever. So I tend to play it by ear, but you can, people tend to think that, you've got the standard renderer and the physical renderer. And the reason that I tend to go with physical is because the settings are overarching. So instead of having to tweak the samples and everything for each light, for each whatever, you can just do it all in one place in the physical renderer. That's why I prefer it over standard mainly. Unless I'm using something like Sketch and Tune or the hair Cinema 4D hair and the hair shader. But yeah, for the most part, physical does it for me. And if you know what you're doing, you can get really good results out of physical. But like I said, it's not a GPU renderer, so it will take time. So that's the only downside with the physical. And I've got to be honest, the Pro Render in Cinema 4D, I did a tutorial about it a while ago, and I don't know whether their big announcement is going to be something else or whatever, but I've got a feeling that Pro Render is going to be scrapped. Maybe at some point in the future. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I've got a horrible feeling that when they look at the usage data for it, they're going to go, yeah. Or they might have improved it to the point where it's actually usable. Who knows? But let's have a look at the chat again. I'm stuck with native renderer here. Like, I would love to render this scene with GI, but no time. Right, okay. Daryl also said they should scrap Pro Render. Yeah, I've got a horrible feeling that's what's going to happen. So, anyway, what's the time? It is 9 o'clock now. Okay, I can stay for another 20 minutes. That's if you guys want to carry on chatting. I mean, if not, I can just... But yeah, I mean, if you want to carry on chatting for another 15-20 minutes, I'm happy with that. I should say, actually, I've got another stream after this one on my second channel. Let's have a look. Let's go find it for you. I'll put a link in the whatchamacallit for you in the chat. Okay, yeah, so here's my second channel. So after this stream, I'm actually going over to my second channel to play a game. I'm going to be streaming The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I've never played it. I've had it for years in my stream library and I've never played it. So I thought, well, it's meant to be a short game, so maybe I'll go play that. So I'm going to do that after this. If any of you guys want to join. So that's in the chat now. That link to my other channel. E Darkside 2 says hi. Hello there, mate. I will be streaming later on my second channel if that's what you're here to ask. Anything else C4D related that we can talk about? Darryl says he. Okay, I'll watch while finish up this project. Okay, cool. So what's your project about? Tell me your project. Are you needing to use Infinite Ocean for it? Or Robin says, okay, quick question. I'm working on a butterfly flock animation. Okay. And the question? Okay, well, I'll just amuse myself while I wait. Robin says, have built one model. So you've built, you mean you've built the model of the butterfly itself, and now, you know, give me a clue here, mate. What are you trying to do? So you built one model, but you want a flock of these things. So are you saying, should you clone them or? Oh, so you're using vibrate nulls to animate. Animate, have do I randomize. And using vibrate nulls to animate and sorry, I'm using vibrate nulls to animate, have do I randomize. I'm afraid that doesn't make sense. But yeah, that's one way to do it. You could take a model, you could have a vibrate then particle emitter or MoGraph. Okay, so yeah, that's one way to do it. You could take the model of a butterfly, whack it in a part. You wouldn't even need the yeah, actually, yeah, you got a vibrate null. The problem with the vibrate null is that there's no way of controlling. Yeah, that might be the way to go actually. So and using vibrate nulls to animate. Oh, are you talking about vibrate nulls attached to the wings, or are you just talking about? Yeah, are you talking about animating the wings up and down? Are you just talking about a vibrate null attached to the end of it as a controller or something like that? Are you just talking about the whole butterfly? Because if you are talking about the whole butterfly, you don't even need a null. You just need to put that on the butterfly and then whack the butterfly in an emitter. Make sure you've got the show object checkbox ticked, and then you can crap all these butterflies out of your emitter then. But there is another way to do this, and in fact, if I go back to the big screen page and go back to my website, excuse me, let's go back to an incognito version of the page. Okay, right, yeah, so if we go back to this and then go to the store and go to the free plugins section, there is a tutorial in here about the flock modifier plugin, which could help you out no end, because you can put your butterflies in this flock modifier, and then you can have a flock of butterflies, and you can actually control their path, their direction, you know, where they're going to go, what they're attracted to, all that kind of stuff. Kind of any flocking behavior, really. Then particle or MoGraph. You can use the signal plugin from GSG. That's another good idea as well. You can actually control all kinds of attributes with that. you get basically, it's a signal tag that you can put on stuff. That's really, really useful. It's really powerful, actually, that. So, yeah, well done to Nick and those guys. Yeah, the wings are vibrate tags. The problem is in a cloner, I don't know how to randomize each butterfly so the wings don't all flap at the same time. Okay, I can answer that question, but like I said, check out the flock modifier. Go to my plugins page in the store. Have a look at this video. Jesus, I forgot about that old intro. But yeah, I basically go through how to use this. I'm just using simple shapes, but flocking behavior. And I've also got a tutorial about what you're talking about as well, which is basically offsetting the animation. So if we go to the tutorial page, so you're saying, yeah, the wings are vibrate tags. The problem is is in a cloner, I don't know how to randomize each butterfly so the wings don't flap at the same time. Yeah, I did a tutorial here. Okay, animation offset for clones. Robin says, I've looked at the time effector to work on the animation, but I'm a bit lost. Go to my website, check out this animation offset for clones. And again, it should give you some clues as to what you need to do. I use very simple shapes in this tutorial. I just animate these, you know, bending back and forth. I put them in a cloner. So now when you play it, they all bend like this, which is essentially what's happening with your butterflies. And then what you, that's it. I use a step effector. But instead of stepping the relative scale or the position or the rotation or anything like that, what I actually do is, you can see at the bottom here, there's a time offset, and there's also a modify clone slider as well. So if I do the time offset by 1 second and then play it again, which is what I'm about to do, you can see that each clone is offset by 1 second by their index number, but you don't have to do it by the order of clones either, their index numbers. You can actually do it randomly, or you can even use a shader to determine which ones will animate when. So I actually lay this out by, God's sake, there we go. I actually lay this out in the tutorial. There you go, you've got randomized animation there by adding a random effector. And I even do it with a shader. So I show that where it's black, it does one thing, and where it's white, I can't remember, because it's a gradient, it does one first and the other one afterwards. So I think I do it as a circular thing. Let me just fast forward it. But it's definitely worth checking this plugin out about offsetting animation of clones. And it's definitely worth checking out Signal by Grayscale Gorilla. And it's definitely worth checking out that flock modifier plugin that I was talking about. So between all three of those things, you should be able to get a solution for your problem, I think. Darryl says it's tanker ship for lightering ships. They are needing a video to present to investors so they can buy this huge barge thingy. It's tanker ship for... He says lightering ships, but I think he means something else. They are needing a video to present to investors. Okay, that's your project, right? Robin says, okay, I'll try that. That's great. Cool. Well, hopefully that helps you out, and you know, we can do something decent. I've just realised that on the stream, this page is actually quite small, so it doesn't help viewing this YouTube video like that. It'd be a lot better like this, really, wouldn't it? Yes. So you can actually see the whole thing. But yeah, so that's how I generally go about that. Here we go. Look, so I think it's where it's black, it animates first. I can't remember, because I think black's a value of 0 and white is, yeah, okay, yeah. So there you go. So you offset via the shader, so you can do all kinds of stuff. But it's very interesting. Okay, so there's enough of that, I think. So no, it's lightering. I had to research it. Oh, okay, it is lightering. It's tanker ship for lightering ships. I don't even know what that means. Maybe I'll have to research it. Okay. E Darkside 2. I like how I have no clue what you guys are talking about. Oh, very good. So I think I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say in terms of the updates and the websites and sort of the finance side of Digital Meet and all that kind of stuff. And I've got to be honest, that is a bit of a struggle at the moment. And that's kind of why I'm making this video. I need some data. I need to reach out, you know, and get some feedback on, well, basically why the Patreon's not working. It's, you know, I've even had people agree with me in this chat saying, yeah, microtransactions is the way to go. Well, you say that, but it obviously isn't because it's not working. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, maybe I'm doing something else wrong. Who knows? Anyway, lightering is the process of transferring cargo between vessels of different sizes. Oh, okay. You learn something new every day. Great. Daryl says GLHF, which is probably some kind of internet acronym that I'm not aware of because I'm a goddamn boomer. Who knows? I've got to stop eating on stream. It's not very professional. So yeah, in the next day or two, then I'll set up a poll, like I said, in the community tab of the YouTube page, just asking what the overall thought is on Patreon, whether I should scrap it, whether I should try doing something else, handle it on the website. I don't know. So yeah, like I said, I'll put something up there. By the way, if I look like a shiny little plum on the stream, it's because it's absolutely roasting here in England. I did have a fan on, but I didn't want it to come through in the stream. In fact, you guys can tell me if I turn this fan on. Okay, so it's on now. Can you actually hear it blowing into the mic, or is it not too bad? Is that okay, or is that all right? Can you just let me know if you can hear the fan? That's all I want to know, really. Robin says, "Good Lord, holy fuck." I don't know what that's in reference to. Good Lord, holy fuck, question mark. Okay, Daryl says, global warming, question mark. I hear nothing. Great. Can't hear the fan. Brilliant. Thanks for that. That means that I can have the fan on during my next stream then. It won't bother anyone. Because it is actually boiling here. Daryl is saying to Robin, lol, I like that better. Oh, good Lord, holy fuck. Right, yeah, okay. I realised it was the internet acronym that I didn't realise what it was, yeah. Yeah, boomer. Cool. Okay, well, if there's no further questions or anything else, I think we've probably got to the end of the stream. It's run its course, so just let me know. If there's anything else, I'll give you 30 seconds to maybe ask something, or else I'm going to call it quits. Robin says, thanks for the help. Good chatting. 30 degrees in London. I'm melting. Oh, you're in London. I'm just up the road from you in Buckinghamshire. Daryl says, cheers. Till next time. Funny you should bring that up next time. Give us some beef jerky. All right. Yeah, speaking of next time, I'm going to try and make these live streams a little bit more often than I have been. I think the last live stream I did was a good, I don't know, 2-3 months ago. So it'd be nice to do at least maybe 1 or 2 a month, even if it's just for a chat, an informal chat with my users, just to shoot the shit, talk about maybe stuff we found online or new tech or something like that. That might be good. It might even be better to do that on my second channel. I don't know, but yeah, it'd be nice to do. It'd be nice to do more streams more often with Digital Meet, and yeah, like I said, even if it is to shoot the shit or whatever. Plus, we can maybe do a Q&A when I've got C4D open, and if there's anything I can help you out with, you know, that kind of thing. So Robin says, thanks for the help, good chatting, 30 degrees in London. Yeah, I've read that already. Cheers till next time. Give us a beef jerky. 94 degrees Fahrenheit here in Florida. I don't know what that is in English, because we do centigrade here, don't we? So Celsius even. So I'm guessing that's hot. 30, 40, something like that. Pixel Buster says, nothing else, you're perfect. Oh, nah. Thanks, man. Oh, Captain Squizzle's in the chat. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Thoughts on After Effects? Yeah, it's all right. I don't use it that often. For videos on my channel, I actually use Premiere Pro more than anything. It's nice and quick as well, but After Effects is good for layering up and color grading and all that kind of... Well, actually, I probably do grading in Premiere as well, but yeah. Daryl, always good. Daryl, 34.4 degrees. Jeez, it's only 30 here. So, I say only. For an English person, this is really hot. Because it's usually around 15 to 20. Robbie says, the best thing to get more people involved is to offer value. This is a great way of doing that. When is the next one? I think you're right. I don't know. Should we say... in a week, maybe 2. I've got quite a bit on my plate at the moment. 2 weeks. We'll aim for 2 weeks. I'll put it in my calendar tonight, and we'll aim for 2 weeks. And you're right. This does offer value, so maybe that'll get people more involved. No super chats tonight, though. Hey, I'm kidding. Okay, we'll wrap it up there then. If you would like to go to my second channel, Beef Doctor, I'll be streaming The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. From what I've heard, it's some kind of sort of first-person sort of puzzler detective type thing. I'm not sure, but no spoilers. Lucas says, your real flow tutorials are awesome. Congrats and thanks. Greetings from Argentina. Thank you very much, Lucas. That is very much appreciated. In fact, sometimes when I'm thinking about just jacking it in and going, oh, do you know what? I just, you know, it's not paying for itself and blah, blah, blah. And internally moaning. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has a moan up every now and again. When I'm doing that, it's always nice to read a comment on a video that someone's put going, dude, I love your tutorials. You've helped me out so much. I love your channel. That always manages to pull me out of that shitty mood or that sort of feeling of despair. Do you know what I mean? Just reading stuff like that is really nice. It might not pay the bills, but it is really nice. Have you also thought about streaming this on Twitch? Yeah, I could do, but I'm not really a big Twitch user, to be honest. But maybe it's something to consider. Maybe it's something to look into. What about the rest of the chat? Would any of you guys actually watch it on Twitch? Are any of you guys in the chat actually Twitch users and would appreciate that, or do you generally avoid Twitch? Shane Geary, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Sorry if it isn't. Shane Geary says, just got here. Love your Ryzen UV tuts. They help me out a lot. Thank you. That's really nice to hear, man. E Darkside says, I don't like Twitch. Robin says, no Twitch. No, I get the feeling that most of my users on YouTube don't really watch or use Twitch. I don't really, I've got to be honest. But maybe there is a market out there for Twitch. So maybe, instead of streaming directly to YouTube, can I do it to something like Restream, and then it will stream it to both YouTube and Twitch at the same time? I'm not sure. I'll have a look into it though. But I get the feeling the majority of my users won't give a shit if I'm on Twitch or not, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to call it a day there, guys, and set up the game stream for my second channel. You can catch me over there. The stream starts at 10 o'clock British summer time. I'm sure if you're in America, that's a different time. Well, I am definitely sure that's the case. So that stream starts in about 40 minutes, basically. What was the final cost of the new PC build? What new PC build? If you're talking about I mean, you say it's new, but it was actually, I don't know. When was it actually? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the blog. It was definitely on my blog somewhere. So let's go to the bottom. Older. It might be on the second page. Because I can tell you now, my build's actually quite old. Here we go. February 2018. So, yeah, a couple of years old now. Nearly come, you know. The final cost, it was about £2,500. But then I had a load of extras to buy as well. Like I needed to buy a network switch so I could network my new PC with my older PCs. So I basically built myself a little render network thing, like Team Render thing. So there was a few extras. I had to buy some extra cable. Oh, pardon me. A network switch. I also had to buy some USB 3 cables. They were basically extenders, but they were active extenders, so there was no signal loss. So I spent 5k on my last build, not including C4D. Sigh. Jesus Christ, Daryl. What's the spec? I mean, this time I've always had the Intel chips right up until this PC, and I thought, actually, it looks like AMD are killing it with their Ryzen Threadripper chip, so I went with that. Darren asked what my cooling is. I think we have the same chip, 1950X. Yeah. Cooling, I went for a custom loop. So I've got a custom water loop. Oh, that's 5k US. So yeah, it probably cost about the same as mine then. Because I think in total, I think for the bulk of it, it was about £2,500. And then English, £2,500 English money. And then with everything else on top, especially I had to buy distilled water, not distilled, deionized water in bulk as well. I had a load of costs on top. It probably came to about £3,000, which is probably the same as 5k US. Captain Squizzle says, I really like your case. No, I like your case. It's really understated. He's obviously taking the piss because my case is absolutely massive. It looks like a fridge. But that's because in my machine before that, I was really sick of rummaging around in this tiny space. To get my RAM out, I'd have to take the air cooler out, which is a right pain in the ass because it means that I'd have to reapply the thermal paste and all of that shit. And I was sick of that. And I just thought, you know what? I don't care if it's big. I've got an office. I don't care, function over form, I think, because I just want it to do what I need it to do, and I want it to be easily accessible. I want to be able to take parts in and out of it easily. I don't have to piss around screaming ouch because I've, caught my fingers on something inside of it. So more room the better, especially for custom loops. Exactly. I didn't want to be in a really tight space, dicking around with custom loops and whatnot. Excuse me, I'm just going to close the curtain. There we go. It's getting a bit dark now. Yeah. Right, I've actually said bye about 3,000 times now, I think. So, Pixel Buster says, my new setup will be delivered tomorrow. Great. That'd be cool. Maybe you can tell us about it in the next stream. The next time I do one of these streams, you can let me know that if everything went as planned and you're happy with the build. Did you go for an Intel or AMD chip out of interest? 299, oh, you bastard. 2990X. That's what I want. And 2 times RTX 2080 Ti's. Wow. Your machine's going to piss all over mine because I've currently got one 1080 Ti in my machine. And you're going to have the latest Threadripper as well. Oh, if only I could afford all that. That would be beautiful. But maybe in the next 10 years, eh? Yeah, I don't think I'll be getting a I've got to say, I don't know if those RTX cards are worth it. The 1080 Ti is still pretty powerful, and if I had the money to get another graphics card, I think I'd just get another 1080 Ti. You know, because they're far from being slouches. I mean, they're not as good as the 2080 Ti's, but I don't know whether the does the tensor cores, you know, used for ray tracing, do they actually add any value to the card in terms of use in a renderer, say like Redshift or Octane or something like that? Do they actually add any value there? For the most part, what I've heard is when people try to use Octane with those cards, they wouldn't work, at least not initially anyway. They were saying, oh, it's shit. You know, the 2080s actually don't work with Octane. There was lots of people pulling their hair out going, I make a living doing this, I need it to work, you know. Captain Squizzle says, my 3700X and 2070 Super arrives on Monday. What's a 3700X? I don't even know what that is. Is that an Intel chip, is it? 3700X. Oh, it's a Ryzen 7 8-core. Got ya. Yeah, they're pretty beefy then. Pretty good. 4.4 gigahertz as well. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask you actually. The overclock, the standard on my 1950X, I think is 3.4 gigahertz, something like that. But you can overclock them to 4 gigahertz as long as you, got a water-cooled solution. That's not great, at least compared to the Intel chips. So, what I'm going to ask is to Pixel Buster, the 2990X, which, excuse me, I think that's the new Threadripper you're talking about, unless I'm totally mistaken. What was it, 2990? 2990X, yeah? That is the Threadripper. Yeah, it's the second generation Threadripper, right? 32 core. Right. What is the clock speed for this? Because the first gen, I've got to say, I thought it was pretty slow. It was standard. So what is the standard clock speed for one of these bad boys, eh? Where's the spec for this shit? Oh, and it's still the X399 chipset, the socket, you know, the TR4 socket. So that's nice. That's good. So that means I can keep my motherboard and upgrade to a new chip. Still don't have the money, but okay. So it is. See prices. Where's the specifications? Here we go. 32 cores, max boost clock, 3.2 gigahertz. That's not much more than mine. I mean, mine's about 4 gigahertz overclocked. So, you know, base clock. The base clock is 3 gigahertz. So, about the same as my Threadripper then. Maybe I'll just wait till the prices come down. In fact, I'm not sure I do need to upgrade my Threadripper at all, really, because I think I'm going to be moving over to GPU rendering very, very soon. And I don't think there's a need for me to upgrade my Threadripper if I'm doing that, because I will no longer have a need. Obviously, your CPU is going to be a bottleneck if it's not good enough, and especially for quad channel RAM as well, getting all that information back and forth quickly. But I don't know if it's worth upgrading, you know, going to 32 cores if I don't need it, if I'm GPU rendering. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chat. Blah, blah, blah. Pixelbus says, yeah, but the 1080 Ti's are not on sale anymore. What? They're not for sale anymore? Shit. Well, they're probably going to go back up in price, aren't they? That's the brand new AMD. Yeah, I saw that. Yep. I'll work on Houdini too. Houdini is multi-threaded. Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, I hope... Oh, wouldn't that be great if that was the announcement that Maxon had to make at SIGGRAPH? Wouldn't that be lovely? Multi-threaded operations, because most of what you do in Cinema 4D, apart from a select few things in there, I mean, obviously when you render, that's multi-threaded rendering, of course. But when you do like, I don't know, say like a dynamic simulation, that's not multi-threaded. That's single core operation. And in fact, most things that happen in the viewport are single core. And in fact, most generators are single core and all that kind of stuff. So wouldn't it be great if they managed to multi-thread a load of shit in the Cinema 4D core? Maybe that's what they've done. Maybe they've updated the C4D core and got a load more stuff multi-threading, or maybe everything. Wow, wouldn't that be beautiful if they got C4D more multi-threaded and everything just ran a little bit better and utilised more memory? And wouldn't that be sexy? That'd be fantastic. Your Threadripper is fine since it have a lot of PCI lanes. That's part of the reason I got it, and that's exactly why I've got one of those M.2 drives as well, because it utilises the PCI Express, not the slots or anything like that. It doesn't occupy a slot, but it basically uses the PCI Express lanes to transmit that information back and forth quicker, which is super cool. It's really good for caching RealFlow sims as well, having an M.2 drive. Well, M.2 is actually the form factor of the drive. What I mean to say is NVMe is the actual thing. You got it, I think. Great. Okay, thanks. I've really got to go now because it's 9:30 and I've got to set up for the second stream at 10 on my second channel. So I'd really wanted to just say thanks for joining me, guys. It was really nice chatting to you, and thanks for the feedback, and hopefully you can give me a lot more when I put up the polls in the community section on YouTube. And for those of you that are stuck by me over the last... when did I start? 2015? Christ. So it's been about 4 years now that I've been doing digital meat, and it has come a long way. It looks a damn sight lot better than it did when I first started. I knew nothing. Not about 3D, I've been doing that a while, but in terms of what the website looked like and running a YouTube channel and talking to camera as well, I was a bit... So, you know, thanks for sticking with me. And I'll see you on the next Digital Meat stream. Hopefully you'll come over to the stream on the second channel. See you soon. Bye-bye.